Okay, so today I have with me a friend who I met again through the community, and he's a very curious person and he has a lot of questions, but he's a sweetheart, and wanted to chat with him today and get his perspective and his experience, and see what he has to say and share his thoughts, and maybe he'll have some questions for everyone else. His name is Jackson. Um, so let me get him. Okay, Jackson, you can introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Jackson, and I am a person here today. I don't know how to introduce myself properly.
Well, you're just a human, and your name is Jackson, and you're having experience like the rest of us.
Yes, that's true. Wait, are we being recorded right now?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's embarrassing. Are we going to cut this part? I'm sorry.
No, we raw dog everything here. Nothing's getting cut out.
Oh, Jesus. Well, let me reintroduce myself then. Well, I am Jackson, and I am a human on this earth having an experience like everybody else. So, yep, I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to living life. Period.
Period. Okay, that was good. Um,
Thank you.
so do you want to, I guess, just talk about how you got into all of this, because you had a really religious background growing up, right?
Unfortunately, yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, so if you want to
I did.
expand on that.
Sure. Well, ever since I was a younger child, I remember being in a Pentecostal church, and church lasted from like 11 or 10 in the morning till about 2 p.m. in the afternoon, sometimes 7, sometimes 12 hours. And I also remember there was times where we would stay overnight. So unfortunately, I was very religious, went to Christian schools and stuff like that. And yeah, it was crazy. And I was always taught that there was an outside force that dictated life for you, and you had to do good things to get into heaven and things like that. So that's pretty much my religious background.
Okay, and then so how did you get into this
The
spiritual
law.
side of things? Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I hope I don't do a word salad, but let me explain. And buckle up, guys, because this is going to be crazy. But uh, to make a long story short, it started off in 2019. That's when I found Law of Attraction through my mom. My mom told me, if you write stuff down as if it already happened, it will come true. And she did that, and some things came to pass. But I did not actually apply it up until 2021, when there was somebody that I liked in college, and we had a little falling out, and I was trying to manifest them back. And yeah, then I had my faces with the crystals and the tarots and things like that, trying to manifest love. And then eventually I found Law of Assumption through Samuel Ingram, and robotic affirming made me dislike life. I got burnt out on my desires. It did. Manifesting felt like a chore. So I just said, fuck it. And I found a lady named Taylor. Taylor Tooks, the black model on YouTube, and I'm also black, by the way. I found her on YouTube, and she led me to her Twitter, just through her page. And I saw these girls on Twitter post Eric's video of how he changed his life in 2 weeks. And I was like, I'm not going to watch this bald head man. He looks evil. He looks mean. I'm not going to watch his video. And I gave it a chance, clicked on it one time. I thought he was boring. He talked too much, so I clicked off. And then I watched it again, and it clicked for me. And I've been on Eric ever since. And he's starting to change my life. My life is starting to change now. So, yeah. Sorry if that was a big word vomit, but yeah.
No, it made sense. I just didn't know about the 2021 SP story. I thought I knew everything about you.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. And I do want to say, I posted something on Snapchat today, and he saw it, and I forgot he was on my Snap. Oh, I said he. But yeah, he was on my Snap. So oh
Don't be
goodness,
shy.
it's so embarrassing.
We don't judge here. Feel free to be
I know
yourself.
it's a
But
period. Thank you.
okay. So your mom introduced you to law of attraction, and then
She did.
you tested it out for yourself, kind of. And then, I don't know,
Yeah, I did. I didn't see any results from law of assumption. Excuse me, from law of attraction. I only saw results from law of assumption. Law of assumption has changed my life, and I'm seeing the results now. But law of attraction, it was like I couldn't get upset over anything, and I would try to stay in a positive mood all the time. And it felt like at one point I was going to have to admit myself to a mental hospital because it was just that bad. And that's real talk, but yeah.
Yeah,
Thank God for Eric.
I understand the being positive all the time aspect, and I think I've told you this before. I think people can benefit from it because, they say you're allowed to feel your emotions, and as long as you don't identify with it. But I think a lot of people, especially, this could be my assumption, but people who are just now starting don't quite understand how to feel their emotions and not identify with it, because they're coming from a place where they think their thoughts are them and not the other way around, and that their thoughts control them. And so if you're telling this person it's okay to feel these detrimental emotions, they're absolutely going to identify with it, because they're coming from a place, you have to remember, where they think these thoughts have power, right? And so if they're feeling them, they're giving it power. Right. That's why for me personally, when I found the law of attraction, and I had to be positive all the time, and I had to be in a good mood and high vibes, I didn't mind it. It helped me because I was someone who was very negative, very skeptical, and if someone would have told me back then, like, oh yeah, you can feel these emotions, I would have went right back down the rabbit hole,
Yes. And you bring up a great point. It's like the beginners, they don't understand that you can you don't have to identify with your emotions, but you can feel them. And like you said, law of attraction, it teaches you to be in a high vibe 24/7. But if you are a naturally negative person, you can benefit from that. Like, there is some benefit to that. And I guess for me personally, back then I was in victim mode 24/7 before I found law of assumption. And I think for me, what helps me is if I'm having a bad, quote unquote, bad day, I just don't express it. I just don't identify with it. I affirm over the feelings and over the emotions. I don't let it get to me. Which some people, if they feel bad, they'll basically start to spiral and stuff. But you can still tell a different story even though you're feeling a bad way, if that makes sense. I just talk all over the place, but yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So okay, do you want to get a little bit deeper into your law of assumption journey, like after you found Eric and started learning more about, this side of things and how you've been applying it and all of that?
So basically, I had this lady. She's like super, super sweet and mean. Decided, really? What's crazy is, no, I'm so serious. Things did not start to click for me until like you started helping me, and I was like, oh, okay. And I realized, because you were the one who told me, it's okay to feel your emotions. If you're having a bad day, if you're not feeling good, you're still on the right track. It doesn't mean you're not aligned with your desires. And lately I was able to manifest a new car for my mom. I did not know how we was going to get a new car, but it just came out of nowhere. I manifested some money out of nowhere, and I also manifested something at my job that basically helps take pressure off of me. So, yeah, those are 3 things so far. So it really, what made me apply, because what's crazy is I was really not applying until a certain someone told me to stop asking questions or I'm going to be stuck in a loop.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was you. Yes, thank you. That was when I stopped, when I started applying, because I was on one of Eric's live streams and I asked a very dumb question, which if anybody is from Eric's live, you know what that question was. And after I asked that question, I realized, okay, this is freaking stupid. I just need to freaking apply the law. And I just realized if you keep asking questions about how does this work, how does that work, like you said, that's your ego trying to hold you back. You don't need to know the mechanisms of how it works. Just know that it does and apply it and go forward. Because when you try to figure out how it works, that's your logical side of your brain trying to basically figure out how things work. And since I have found the law of assumption, I will say one thing that the transition from attraction to assumption, one of the biggest things is I can still cry, I can still scream and yell, I can do anything in the 3D, like interact and know that it's not going to affect my manifestation. And I also know that I am the creator of my own reality. It's not some outside force, because even the law of attraction even says that, hey, if you raise your vibration, some outside force is going to bring you this. But law of assumption tells me that I can grant my own self my own desires, and I just love it. It gives me so much peace and freedom in knowing that that's me. I can do that for myself. And I think an example is, I look at law of assumption and the world like this. We all are just a ball of energy. That's all we are. When you take away our physical body, there's nothing but energy. And we were given taste, sight, smell, hearing, and touch to have a human experience. Nobody experiences what we experience. We are in our own body for a reason. Essentially, the reality that we are in is the reality that we control. So if we want something, we just say we want it, and we are automatically aligned with our desires. We don't have to go out there and do, slave work to be aligned. Like, the minute you say you are what you are aligned until you contradict yourself. So I know that was a lot, but that's basically my transition from that and what I take from it. So.
No, and that's beautiful. And for anyone that doesn't know Jackson, when I first met him, the amount of questions, I remember there were days where I was at the office and I was just getting messages from him, and he was asking. He's a very curious person, and at one point I was like, Jackson, you're not curious at this point. You're just trying to figure shit. You're trying to control it, and you gotta relax. But I remember and do you remember our first phone call? When I first met you, we started talking, and you had all these questions. I was telling you how I achieved like this thing and that thing and whatever, and I was giving you the proof with it, right? Like, I was showing you screenshots and all of these things to show you, like, I actually, I was able to do it, because I understand, like, sometimes people can be skeptical. But then it got to a point where no matter how much, like, evidence, if you will, that I was showing you, your questions even, like, just started getting even more. So I'm like, okay, I was like, he's just trying to figure out the how, right? Because I'm like, he's obviously not believing it, or he thinks that he can't do it or something. But I remember on the first call, I was trying to explain to you the concept of there is no past or future. It's just now. And when you close your eyes, there's your brain and your body will react. Like, if you think about something, it'll react now, right? Remember the example I gave you about the tennis ball and the golf ball?
And I said the tennis ball feel heavy, and you're like, what the fuck? Wait, no, I think I said the golf ball feel heavy, and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah, that took me out. That was so funny. And
then I was telling you about the lemon. And I don't remember what you said, but I remember I was like, oh my god, this kid. No, but I mean, there was a naivete to you, right? That I can like, I don't know if compassion is the right word, but like I could understand it, right? Like, you're very curious because of maybe your upbringing and your religious background, and again, I had my own struggles with it too. So I had questions, and I was looking for answers, but. I don't even know how long it's been. Maybe a month, 2 months in total. But it feels like I've known you forever now. And
good grief,
right?
Really?
yeah.
Oh goodness, it's been a while. Yeah.
But it hasn't been that long either. But like, seeing your progress and transition from when I first met you with all, and you have your questions still, and that's okay. But it's different. It's not like coming from a place of where you were even yesterday, right? Like, because there's no past, but.
Right.
Seeing like how like your understanding of it now, what you said earlier was beautiful. It's your own reality. You get to dictate it. You get to control it.
And, yeah, because that's the point. of you being in your body, honestly. Like, really, the point of us being on this earth is so that we can live and have heaven on earth. It's not, we're not meant to be here and suffer and struggle. That's what they want you to believe, honestly. But no, that's not how it works. So that's not so. But wait, did I cut you off? I'm so sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I did not mean to cut you off.
No, you're okay.
Oh, and I was going to say something else that I've come to notice is that, and I think anybody who is doing law of anything, you can look at these coaches only as a guide and a foundation of how to live your life and how to manifest. But don't try to copy them exactly, because I feel like just with Eric, one thing that I see is, people think that they have to, and even he will tell you, you don't have to mimic me. You just basically do what works for you and find your own path. Like, for example, I know Eric does not listen to certain songs because he feels like certain songs will, do X, Y, Z. But I feel like in my reality, I can listen to like Drake as he says it, but I don't listen to rap. But if I did, I could listen to Drake and still be in alignment with my manifestation. It just depends on what you say works for yourself. But it's all about your own spiritual journey. So don't try to mimic these other law coaches or anything like that. Find your own journey. When you start applying the law, you start finding your own self and finding your own journey. And therefore, anybody else's stuff is not, like, for me personally, like, I don't read success stories anymore because I realize I am my own success story. I only resonate with me. And sometimes people put limits on themselves with success stories. Like, oh, if I want to manifest marrying Beyonce, I'm going to go find a success story of somebody who actually married somebody on her level. And if I don't, therefore I can't do it. And it's like, find your own freaking journey. Again, I'm sorry, I did not mean to go on a tangent, but that's something else I've realized recently. So, yeah. That's my bad, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And that's a very good point. It's not one size fits all. We're all at different levels of awareness. We're all at different, paths in our lives in total. We have different. I don't like the word circumstance, but we have different things going on for ourselves, right? Like I, am in a different state than you are, and so I have different situations here than you would, and where you're from, right? And so I can't expect to watch you and be like, okay, well, I'm going to do exactly what he does, because it might not work for me, because we're not having the same experience, and that's, I think, one thing to take away from all of this is that it's a very unique individual experience. The foundation of it, like you said, it's the same across the board. You create your reality. You are the master of your reality. We are this greater conscious, this higher being, whatever you want to call it. The power is within us, right? Okay, we all know this. But now, I know the power is in me, you know the power is in you, but we are living two very different journeys, or having two different journeys, And so I can't compare myself, and that's one thing too. Even me in the beginning, I used to look, the first place I would go to was, of course, the comments and see, right? Especially back when, the technique videos, like, oh, get a what was it, like, get $500. I remember, because I used to do it a lot for money. And it was like, oh, get $1,000 instantly by the end of this video, or like overnight, you know what I mean? And
yeah, oh god.
And so I used to like look in the comments, and I'm like, okay, let me see who. And you know what's so funny? I was such a skeptic. I would look at the comments, and there would be people that comment that they did it and everything, but then I'd be like, oh, well, those have to be fake comments. Those have to be fake, or they're like, these guys making their own accounts, And it's like, because now I comment on the videos for people to see, like, no, like, if I can do it, anyone can do it, right? Because I was in such a like negative, low place mentally that I was like, there's no fucking way. This is just not real. And and I commented, and I'm like, maybe, or like even you, I was like, does he think that I'm lying? Because I'm not. Like, I have no reason to lie to you, right? But I realized that's how I used to think. You thought I was lying?
I did. I thought you lied about him. I want to say something. I don't know if I can say it on here because I thought you were lying. I was like, bitch, there's no fucking way.
Oh, well,
wait,
okay,
can I say that, or should I tell you later?
Wait, let me pause it. Oh. But go ahead.
Okay, so basically, I remember you had told me you manifested your dream man from head to toe, right? Yeah. And so when I saw the picture of him, I was like, there's no way this man is like hers. This is like some random man from Facebook or something. And that actually is your real man. Like, I've come to know that you literally I've never known you to lie about anything, honestly. Like, you've never lied about anything, so you have proof for every fucking thing. So
yeah,
that's
and
the
I remember when um it was I remember the night very clearly. I was going to pick up my meals from my friend. I was in the car driving, and I remember I was texting you or messaging you on Instagram, and you were asking questions. And I think this was like the first week, maybe the first few days that we were talking. And on my way, I was in the middle. Like I was still driving, but I remember you were like, "Well, how did you get your job?" And this and that. And I remember I went to the freaking like company app thing, and I took screenshots. And in that moment, I was like, he probably thinks I've been lying this whole time to him and whatever. So I was like, let me show him these screenshots to be like, look, like it's real. Like the only thing I blurred out were, I think, like my personal info, but everything was there. The dates, because I had told you I was like, oh, I was getting like a raise every 3-4 months or whatever it was, and all this. But again, I was like, he probably will think like I'm faking this somehow.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I thought Sophie was just like out of her mind, and I thought she was like lying to me. And I was like, oh my God, am I going crazy? Am I really out of my mind? Because what am I even doing? But no, she's not lying. This is literally real shit. So this is
And honestly,
really, really real.
for anyone else that is skeptical, it's just do it for yourself, right? When I first was introduced to it, it was by my sister and her friends, and I was like, yeah, whatever, like it's not real, right? I used to be like, I was very skeptical. Even if, like at the comments, I'd be like, oh no, they're lying or whatever. Until I tested it for myself, and I was like, you know what? Let me try it and see what happens, And if it works, fabulous. If not, okay, well at least I tried, right? Because what have you got to lose? And it worked, and it worked flawlessly, and it worked every freaking day. And but again, that was back then. Back then, I thought I had to like meditate every day or affirm every day, or what I mean.
God.
But it's all progress. It's all a journey, and now I'm at a point where I understand. I have a different understanding altogether from all of it, and just try, just do it. At least give yourself that chance. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah, and people aren't lying because honestly, it's really our nature. And I just feel like if you're skeptical, try it on things that you don't give a fuck about. Like like how Eric puts things in our awareness, right? Yeah. So recently, I think the last one was like stallions, right? So I told myself I'm going to see some, like I was in the shower and I told myself I'm going to see stallions. I trust myself. And literally right after I said that, a second afterwards, I turn around and on the shampoo bottle was 2 stallions. And I was like, bitch, this is fucking insane, fucking crazy. So yeah, it really all comes from you. And one thing I do want to say, because you brought something up that I wanted to touch on, is like people, well, you said you used to do techniques. You thought you had to do this technique every single day. I don't do techniques anymore. Like, I don't, because it's not the techniques that manifest. It's you. You give power to the techniques, but essentially I think people think, oh, if I do this technique, if I visualize, if I affirm, I can, get this. But when you say stuff like that, you're telling yourself, I don't have it. I'm doing it to get. And if you're doing it, you don't have it. And if you don't have it, you can't receive it. So if you observe lack in any situation or in any area of your life, that's what it's going to reflect. So that's what I've come to learn. So just always speak in your favor and think of every area in your life with abundance. And also, do not complain about your life. Give everything perfect meaning, because if you are in constant victim mode 24/7, you are going to build up a bunch of resistance for anything to flow in your life. And I'm just being real. Like, drop that victim mode, because it gets you no fucking where. But you just want to put that out too. So
yeah, and the victim mode thing, because earlier you mentioned like we choose these bodies or whatever, it's giving us the human experience, blah blah blah. And I've fallen more into deeper into the like spiritual side. Forget about like the law of assumption, just like being this greater consciousness, right? And I was watching a video today, and this girl was saying how she had this experience where she saw herself, this like her essence, like it wasn't her physical body, it was just like her higher being, right? It was a near death experience that she was having, and she saw herself before choosing out the life that she did for herself. So, and people say that there are so many experiences out there, right? And one of the hardest ones is the human experience because of this like good versus evil, and the limitations, and like it's just a very interesting experience. And our higher selves or whatever signed us up for this for a reason. There's something that we're trying to get out of this because we don't remember, right? There's whole thing with memory and all of that, and that gets into a whole nother conversation. But this journey isn't about the things we think it's about. It's part of the experience 100%, but when you come to understand that it is so much more than just, like you said, this body. Like, this is just a vehicle that we use. Like, you're getting in your car, you're driving to work, you go pick up your friends, you're going out, you're doing this. Are you identifying with that vehicle? Are you going to have a bad day because you have a scratch on your car? No, because you're like, it's just a car, it's not me, right? Because you're you.
Right.
And by that same token,
Exactly.
you're not the body you're in. You're not those 2 arms and 2 legs and the eyes and the nose and the skin color and the hair and whatever. You're that divine essence behind it. There's a reason why he chose it, and you might not know it now or even in this lifetime, but you'll come to know it when your time is when the time comes. But that's just the means to get you through these experiences that we're having on this like long ass path, right? Like it's like a horse ride or a wagon ride or a car, whatever you want to use, right? So don't let that stop you. Go and have the human experience. Go be, go enjoy life. And that's what I've been doing. And it's, like I said, I'm kind of, not that I'm steering away, but I'm like, my focus is kind of elsewhere now. It's not about manifestation. I don't like using that word anymore. It's just, it's your birthright, it's your selection, it's your journey. But for me, it's been more about the humanity. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, I don't even, like, I feel like my purpose now more so, and I've always felt this way, but I'm really feeling it as of the last, 2 weeks, is just spreading as much, and that sounds corny as hell, but, just spreading as much love as I can, and, being more compassionate towards people, at work, sometimes, in the past, I still, had a very positive outlook, but if someone, annoyed me, I would snap, and, I'd be short with them, and I'd, have a rude response. But now I take a second and I'm like, it's fine. This person's not hurting me. I put myself in their shoes. I'm like, you know what? Who knows what they're going through? I don't know what their life is. If they're short, that's fine. I can take it. It doesn't have to be this thing where we're both now angry at each other. Because what's the point? For what? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so, even my boss, it's so funny. Because, I've never been rude to him, but, the way I look at him now, it's I just want to, grab his cheeks and be like, ooh, like a little baby. And I have that, towards, and I have that towards everyone. I'm just you just want to smother them with love, and it's just you're alive and you want to just be like, hey, it's a beautiful thing to be here. Enjoy it,
I can agree. Well, I think I'm still working on the part of wanting to spread love, because sometimes people do piss me off, and really and truly, I will say, if somebody pisses me off, I will just stop engaging with them or just with people in general. Recently, I would say this week. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that on air. But you know what, Sally? I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that part off of record. But I just want to say one thing also, finding the law and just outside the law in general. I just don't vibe with negativity. If you are somebody who is in victim mode 24/7 and you're always complaining about negative circumstances 24/7, I'm just going to, out of nowhere, just drop off the face of the earth for a while, because who wants to deal with that? Do you have friends that do that? Do you personally?
What, being negative all the time?
Yeah, because you were talking about spreading love, and I also think that you can't spread love if you're so negative 24/7. Even with family, if family ever watches this, you have my number. You can always contact me. But some people in my family, they are very, very negative, and I just do not want to associate with them at all. And I just, oh God, negativity is just so bad. And also one thing is that don't let anybody else's, you know what, I want to speak to my black people. I do. If you're black and you listen to this podcast, I just want to be real. As another black person to another black person, yes, the world may be racist, but that does not have to be your experience. You do not have to fall into the collective beliefs that black people have. You know, I'm not saying it's not valid to have those. I'm just saying, knowing what I know now, I don't claim that, oh, white people are like this or, oh, black people are like this. I just live my life and I just have fun, honestly. Like, there was a guy named Abdullah. He was able to live in racist America like a king, basically. You know, he refused to let that in his reality. So
and I think he was also, he was Jewish, and back then, again, they were like anti-Jew, anti-black, and he was living his best life in white America.
In racist white America, guys. So I just feel like, you know, sometimes we do need to hear black people talk about these types of stuff. And also the candles, the hoodoo stuff, the voodoo, let's just put that down. We can, if just put trust in yourself, you put faith into all these earthly things to manifest for you, when in actuality, it needs your energy to manifest. So why not believe in yourself? Boom. So, yeah, I know that's kind of long-winded, but...
No, it's... Just... Listen, you know, you come from a certain background. I feel the same way towards... about Afghans, you know, and, you know, because they tend to be more on the religious side, which is fine. You know, what works for you will work for you, but it's about changing those limited beliefs and those collective beliefs and assumptions. But to answer your question from earlier about me having or dealing with, you know, people who are negative or draining, yeah, so because I was, you know, at some point negative myself, right, and then I made this shift, and suddenly I became, you know, more positive, more uplifting, whatever, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I had this, like, holier than thou mindset that now I'm a little bit better than these people, and, like, if people don't get me, then I don't want them in my life, and I did cut out a lot of people from my life, right? And that's not to say that you don't naturally outgrow people. You can't. Like, people are in your life, you have an experience, and then you gradually shift, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be anything bad or, like, drama. It is what it is. Like, you know, we had a journey together, wonderful. Now, you know, we're having another journey, and maybe you're in it, maybe you're not in it, right?
Right.
But waffles, hold on. But now, with everything going on now, it's like it's not that I'm more patient, but I'm like, I get it. Like, I can understand where these people are coming from, and if they feel a certain way, that's fine. But I know when to, like, cut off certain conversations. So if I feel someone is just going down this, like, hellhole, and I deal with this every day at work with different people, you know, or when I'm outside, or, you know, with family members or whomever, if someone's feeling, you know, negative and they're not believing in it, whatever, it's fine. Like, I'm at a place where I can be like, okay, I understand where they're coming from, and I'm gonna let them talk and, you know, vent and whatever. I try to say things that might help, and if they understand it, great. If not, that's okay. But I know now that, like, that's not gonna affect me, because I love that person regardless. I love that person for who they are, for the experiences we have together, for the joy and love that we share together, you know? And to add, like, a caveat to that, there was a saying, I don't remember who said it, but I know it was a woman, and she said, our job is not to go around and, like, let's say, like, I have these beliefs, right? Like, and this was the old me. I used to want to tell everyone and try to, like, get them to believe what I believe, right? Like, oh my God, look, you can change your life, and law of assumption, and da-da-da-da, right? And, you know, there's resistance to it. So it's more practice. It's not practicing what you, like, be whatever you're trying to preach without saying any words. Because when you are naturally showing people that you are that love, you are light, you have this grand energy, you're someone that people love to be around, it'll come out of you on this energetic field, and they will feel it, and they'll naturally be drawn to you. Maybe they'll have a question, maybe they want to spend more time with you, they like listening to you. You don't have to do anything. I don't have to go up to every person and be like, hey, because this was me in the past. I'd be like, hey, oh my God, like, let me tell you. And I had this one friend in particular, he was so resistant to it. And it used to make me mad because I'm like, why are you not understanding what, because I thought I was right, right? And I'm like, I need him to believe me, but he had his own beliefs and maybe it was his ego, whatever. But if I would have just behaved and acted as those things instead of trying to just preach those things with my words, maybe it would have like had some kind of influence on him and it would have worked out, right? But the point of all this, just be it. You know,
Literally.
you don't need to try to convince everyone. You don't need to try to sit here and write essays to people. Like if you are being that what you're trying to preach, people will see it, people will feel it, and they'll gravitate more towards you, you know, naturally towards you.
Yeah, and that's true, you know, and it's also, you know, when you do things like that, your self-concept naturally raises, so people will naturally be attracted to you, and they're like, oh, I like being around you, and then you tell them, okay, well, they'll see the changes in your life, and then you can let them know, hey, this is how I changed my life, you can too. But yeah, sometimes you just have to keep things to yourself and just be it, because people are not going to believe you. You know, 99% of this world lives on circumstance, and they are addicted to their own suffering, and their egos are in the way. It's just so much. So just be it, honestly, like you said. And if you don't mind, can I say something else that I think would be helpful for people?
Go ahead.
So one cheat code that Eric talks about and that I would say I agree with is calling everything perfect. Like, you also can call your feelings perfect. Even if you feel sad, you can affirm you feeling sad is perfect. Like, we give everything meaning. And you have a video on that. And for example, if you are, let's say, looking for a new house to live in, you don't have to sit in a dark room and wait for a house to just come through the window and hit you in the head. You can literally look for other houses and just tell yourself, me looking on Zillow for other houses, this is a part of the perfect unfolded. This is perfect, because you're still in that knowing. But if you have to second guess, should I do this or should I not? Just say it's perfect and go on with it. Like, you can also give your actions perfect meaning as well. You really can't fuck this up. It's so simple if you just think from a state of, I'm the god of my reality. So I hope that makes sense. But
it does.
Yeah.
And to add to that about the you can't fuck it up, people say a lot that the reason why you even have your desires in the first place is because you already experienced it, right? And now I'm gonna add my input into that and say, remember that story I was telling you earlier about choosing the experiences before, you know, you come down here and you're like picking this body or whatever, before we even became Samina and Jackson and whatever. We selected these experiences. So that person that you want, you've already selected them way before your little human brain can comprehend. That maybe that like lavish style that you want, it's already you're the one that selected that for you to experience. So trust in yourself, trust in that knowing, because think about it like this. There's so many of us in this world, right? And something that people try to instill also is lack, and there's no such thing. That's not real, right? It's unlimited across the board. But I'm sitting here, and there are so many beautiful like I live in LA. There's so many beautiful houses here, in all price ranges, right? Mostly in the higher end. I see some of these homes, and they're so extravagant, and yes, they're beautiful, and they have. But I'm like, I don't want that. I want the house that I want, because it's gonna be just me and my husband, and you know, like I don't need a 18 bedroom, 24 bathroom house. To me, that is nonsensical. But there are people out there who want an 18 bedroom, 24 bathroom house. So it's like we all have such specific desires to ourselves, right? And it's already been pre-selected by yourself. So trust in yourself and allow yourself to take this path, whichever way it's gonna go, to get you to it. There's no wrong answer. And like, you know, you said, you cannot fuck this up no matter what you do. If you really believe that you can do this and you have that trust in yourself, you don't need to trust someone outside of you. You don't need to trust the weather. You don't need to trust anything. Trust yourself, because it's only you anyway, you know?
Yes, and I do want to say, you really cannot fuck this shit up. I waver. Okay, when it came down to manifesting the car, I did waver sometimes, and the car came in. Earlier today, I wavered when it came down to money, and I still got the money. So you really cannot fuck this shit up. So, um, I just literally just go in, try it for yourself. You will literally see changes, and once you're in that knowing, time goes by so fucking fast you won't even realize it's been a perceived month or perceived 2 weeks. So sometimes you won't be aware of that, and sometimes you will, but it just depends.
Yeah, when you're being really present and when you're really being and not trying to do things, you don't really pay attention to the outside forces. You're enjoying being in this moment with your friends, your family, your work, whatever it is that you're doing, and that alone is fulfilling enough to where you detach from everything naturally, and that detachment is what will help. I don't want to say speed things up, but it kind of like paves the way for you even more so, because now you're not obsessing over it and causing that like excess resistance, you know.
Yes, yes, I agree. Which is why having a positive mindset, it's not, well, no, it is needed. But being in a high vibe, it's not needed, but it helps because when you're in a high vibe, your ego isn't so, it's not putting up a big fight, and it just helps things flow in faster versus if you were in a bad mood and you had a bunch of resistance, things aren't, it's not halted, but it's a little bit slow to progress, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah, because you're still
yeah,
gonna get whatever it is that you want, but
yeah,
if you're causing all of this, or if you're creating all of this resistance, guess what? You're gonna get it, but it's gonna seem, you're gonna be perceiving time in a different manner, and now it's gonna seem so much longer than what it actually is. When you could just be minding your
exactly.
business and living your life and being present and not paying attention and letting it just come to you. Because you really don't need to even do anything. You could be sitting in your freaking house and it will come to you. Now, your house
That's what
might
happened
not
to me
fly through the
today.
window and slap you in the face, but you might get an email for a job opportunity that's going to pay you X amount of money that's in this location that happens to be where that house is. You see, like, it,
Yep,
the unfolding is so
so
meticulous,
perfect.
so perfect that
Yeah,
you gotta just you have to just sit back and let it happen and let it happen. It's happening for you, not to you, you know. But
and when you get your, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry,
no, no, go ahead.
because I was going to say, no, I'm so sorry, Tommy, go ahead, you finish that. That's my bad.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say anymore.
Oh, Chris, I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. It's
I was
okay.
going to say, you said the unfolding is very meticulous and perfect, and I just want to say it's so perfect to the point where when it comes in, like when you're like just starting, it feels almost as if you didn't do it because it feels so freaking natural,
Mm-hmm.
and it almost feels like you're a fraud, and it's just that natural. But it did come from you. You did this. It's just the unfolding. It's just very, very perfect and natural. So don't try to figure out the how. Just go with the flow. And I will say, I'm in one perfect unfolding I'm still in right now because out of nowhere, a job I did not even apply for contacted me about a position. I was like, what? What is this? I never even applied for this job. So yeah, um, you just have to just go forth with the knowing. So, and I do want to say there was a point in time where I did manifest my favorite song ever to go viral on TikTok. But anyways, back to you, Savi. I just wanted to point that out
Wait, what
because
song
that's
was
one of my
that?
biggest flex.
I do remember you
That
talking
was,
about that.
so I just want to paint the story. So back when I was in the 8th grade, there was a song called Hideaway by Daya. It was popular, but it was like after 2016, I never heard it again. And I was inside my mama's room in 2024. I was like, hey, mom, did you hear that song that came across your For You page called Hideaway by Daya? And she said no. And then I think a week or two later, the song went viral on TikTok. And that was her first time hearing it. And I was like, I was just joking, but geez, the song went viral on TikTok. So it came from me, and no one can convince me otherwise. So yeah, I'm sorry. I had to put that there.
No, it's your success. Be proud of it.
I am proud. So, I know usually you don't keep your episodes over an hour long. So did you want to like cut it here or
No, no, it's
wrap it
listen.
up?
That's not a deliberate thing. That just because that's all I have to say
Oh,
as a loan. Yeah, we can yap. I have no problem.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, I will share another manifestation success story to show people that this shit is fucking real. And I remember, okay, so without giving away where I live, so let's just
Charlotte,
say
North
I live
Carolina.
in Mexico.
Just kidding.
Sure, Charlotte, North Carolina. I live in Mexico. Me and I'm from Mexico. I'm just joking. Okay, but anyways, but so I live in Mexico in the 4D. But so by my college, there's a store, and when I got out the car one day, I told my brother, I was like, it would be funny if we saw T here. Now, T was somebody who I had a crush on that went to my college, and we went inside the store, and as I was going down the aisle, he walked. Well, I said his gender. He walked into the aisle, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's him!" And I was just and it was just so freaking fast like that. Like 5 minutes later, I saw him in the store. There's no logic to this stuff, really. You just have to apply. Like I can't stress that enough. But I also will say, ever since I found law of assumption, my confidence has increased. I no longer feel the need to people please. If everybody is me and, I'm the creator of my reality, I don't feel the need to people please anymore. I just do whatever the freak I want to do. Knowing that I can't fuck up. Like, whenever I'm at work, I put my foot down. I don't let people walk all over me. Like, really, my confidence has increased. Like, I can't even begin to explain. It's just, I'm just thankful to find it. And at such a young age, we're not as old as Selena. She's like a grandma, but I am young where I can apply the law and I can just basically cherry pick what I want in life. So, did you have anything else you wanted to say behind that, Miss Saudi?
Yeah, first of all, I'm not that old. Don't you dare.
No, she is old. She's like 58 years old. So,
whatever, you Gen Z. I wanted to touch on the confidence thing, because I used to be very insecure about my looks physically, and I have my confidence here and there, but more so again lately, I'm like, yeah, everyone is me. Who the fuck gives a shit how I look? I mean, I obviously still look good, but if it's about like the little thing, because I used to be like, oh my God, my toes aren't done, so I can't wear like heels, and I'm still not walking out with undone toes, guys. but you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, if my hair isn't styled, because I have curly hair, and if I didn't blow dry it this morning, it's not the end of the fucking world. Like, you guys are all existing because of me anyway, so there's nothing you can say that's gonna hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? And that's a great place to be in, having that kind of confidence, and it's not being cocky or, what's the word that people use? Arrogant or any of that. It's just, who the hell you are, and actually everyone has that same level of confidence, just people aren't tapping into it, and that's okay. But you can tap into it if you know, and enjoy your life. It's meant to be enjoyed. Like, I cannot emphasize that enough. Go out, go do things, go make memories, have experiences, meet people. Like, who cares? There is no wrong deed. It's so subjective,
Because you give everything meaning. If you say it's wrong, then it's wrong. If you say it's right, it's right. But like I said, go ahead. Oh, well, I was just going to say, excuse me, I kind of slipped over those words, but give everything perfect meaning. Like, shit, if you are trying to manifest an SP and you feel the need to send them a text, just say you send them that text is perfect, but also you cannot fool yourself. If you're sending the text to basically get a response, then it's kind of like, okay, girl, like, what are you doing? You already have this person. Yes, don't do it for validation. Just do it because you're having fun with it. Like, if you want to cartwheel naked in front of your SP, just call it perfect. So, I'm not saying do that, but, yeah.
I mean, listen, if you have a belief, you can do that too, but, it's like...
Yeah.
Like you said, just be honest with yourself. And you can lie to other people, but you can't lie to yourself, right? And so, if you're doing something to make things happen or to seek validation, then it's not going to work because you don't even believe yourself, right?
Yeah, and that's what happened with me recently. There was somebody that I thought I was into, and I realized I was only into them because I was trying to basically see if I could manifest a person. And ever since I've been going in on the people that I do have, and I just want to say I'm not polyamorous. I am monogamous. I experience people one at a time. But with the people that I do have, I realize everybody else is starting to become unattractive to me. Like I'm only attracted to my 4 people, and that's it. Honestly, outside of that, I don't have any attraction to anybody else. So, but that's what happens when you shift identities, you know. So yeah, you just have to be authentic with yourself and know what the fuck it is that you want. You can either go big or go small. So, but yeah.
Give me 1 second.
All right, we're back. Like a commercial break.
I know. For real though. I don't remember where we left off, but do you
girl me either
have any
other
huh?
Oh, I was just gonna say this is also the perfect unfolding. Because I always wanted to have a podcast where I talk about, well, that's coming in the future, so stay tuned. I don't want to sound like I'm a crazy person, but yeah, and I'm on a podcast right now. I never thought that I'd be on a podcast like this year, so I'm actually honored to be on here in the first place. But yeah, it really feels
honored to have
amazing.
You, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Savi, and hopefully you have me back for more episodes.
Oh, we will.
So when my
I want to hear
brain is less scattered.
When you're what?
Brain is less scattered because my brain is all over the place today. Nobody told me that Fortnite was going to have an update tonight, so yeah.
That's just your assumption. Your brain was perfectly fine. We all understood you perfectly, and it went perfect.
Right.
So it's part of your perfect unfolding.
It is, and stay tuned, guys, for my podcast, which should be later on this year. So yeah.
Yeah, you and I were supposed to also do one, by the way. You failed. You bailed me.
Wait, which podcast? Wait, this one?
No, we were gonna do one. I don't remember, but it's fine. It's all perfect anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm glad to be a part of your perfect unfolding, and this is something that I've always wanted to do too. I wanted to just yap, and I don't want to keep it just like manifestation and law of assumption, right? Like, I mean, it's primarily that, but it's just about lifestyle shifts altogether. Yeah, it's about a place to like share experiences. My own, I think I've lived a very interesting life, and this is not.
Yes, you have.
This is not just because I'm claiming this. This is because the people I've met have told me this over and over and over again for so many reasons. And I want to share
me included.
My experiences, your experiences, her experiences, his experiences, just like people getting together and sharing their energies and just like giving hope, because I'm sure there's someone out there. And for me, it's always been, even if it's just one person who can benefit from this and be like, okay,
yeah,
get a little bit of hope or something, then like I'm good. That's how I felt like is my purpose, just to help at least one person, because then that person will help another person, and it's just kind of like this chain of reaction,
Yep.
And like I said, primarily, yeah, it is law of assumption and that, but it's more about spirituality and just like life and bettering yourself, and always, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, maybe you learn something about yourself, maybe you learn something about something else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to create this space of knowledge and good essence,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and same here. Well, I thought it had to only be about law of assumption or manifestation. That's why I was trying to keep it and not try to go out of, the lines. But shit, I wish I knew that earlier. But
I thought I told you
it's
that.
all good. No, you didn't. I'm sorry. Or maybe you did, because sometimes I swear the only thing I can really remember is music. No, I do pay attention. I just forget. No, you don't pay attention. You really don't pay attention.
That's a lie.
Sometimes, I want to give, but can I give a little sneak peek before we go? Just a little quick sneak peek.
Yes, go ahead.
If you don't mind. Thank you so much, bestie. So basically, I am like a big music nerd, and like I will always look at like the top biggest songs of like certain years, and I wonder like, okay, what were people's experiences with, certain songs? Like when Waterfalls by TLC was out, like what were people doing when that song was like, what memory do they have attached to that song? Because every year Billboard has like the biggest top 100 songs of each year. And I want to basically start a podcast for me, my musical memory for pop music starts in 2006. So I want to start there all the way up until 2024 and talk about each song and the memory I have attached to it from that time period. And I feel like it serves as a time capsule for people who were not there to experience it, and also for those who want to re-experience it and see if we have similar or different experiences. And I would love to do a podcast like that. Like when Shape of You by Ed Sheeran came out, where were you? I was a freshman in high school, and they played it 24/7 on the radio like it was the only song that existed at one point. But yeah, that's what I want to do.
I love that. And I know, like, just talking to you alone and always talking about the songs, like, you unlocked so many memories for me. And I'm like, oh my God, when this song came out, like, I remember, because I did spend my childhood in Ohio, and a lot of the songs that you sometimes bring up, I'm like, I was in Ohio, I was doing this, you know what I mean? Like, it just brings back especially 2016 was the vibes, you know?
Yes.
when you bring up music from 2016, it brings back so many memories.
It's funny because everybody says, oh, you're so obsessed with 2016, but I'm saying, like, the music of 2016, like, Sorry by Justin Bieber, Work From Home by Fifth Harmony, Don't Let Me Down by the Chainsmokers, baby, those were the songs at the time. You literally had to be there, period. But yeah, you're right, though. That was such a vibe. Wait, how old were you in 2016? You were in your 40s. I mean, you were in your, if I was 14, you were 19, and you said you were working at, like, some store, right?
What song?
No, you were working at, like, a store at that time, because, like, you were going out with your friends a bunch.
At 19, yeah, I was working at Ropex at the mall.
Yeah, I remember you had told me that. And, wait, do you remember It's Just Me, Myself, and I, Solo Ride Until I Die? That one, by Bebe Rexha and
Yeah,
G-Eazy.
that was 2016. I remember because my
16.
sister got engaged, and my cousin got married, and my cousin's son was here. Like, my whole family was here from all over the world, but my cousin's son was here from Canada, and I remember last time I saw him, he was a baby, so he was all grown now. And then my cousins from, like, the East Coast were here, from Germany, all of such good times. See, like, this is why I like talking to you about those things, because it just brings back so many good memories.
Good memories, yeah. Is there a song that brings back a bad memory for you?
I don't think bad memories. Like, sometimes it just reminds me of, like, a dry, boring summer, you know? But I wouldn't say bad memories.
There is one song that brings back bad memories. I don't think anybody would know it, but I mean, it made one of the biggest songs of the 2018 list. But I don't. Okay, two songs. Does anybody know what "Can't Stop the Feeling" is? Well, you're the only person on here, but do you know what "Can't Stop the Feeling" is? You're the only person I'm talking to, so I'm sure people in the comments know what that is. But do you know what that is,
Can't Stop the
Savi?
Feeling? Who was it by?
Justin Timberlake. That was like summer 2016. You couldn't escape the song, and that went on for years afterwards.
Well, I'm gonna need
that
you to
song
sing
brings
it
back
so I
bad
can hear
memories. Can't stop the feeling, so just dance, dance, dance. I'm just talking it, but it was on that movie Trolls. Yeah, it was on the Trolls movie. I didn't. Oh, never mind. I would say I remember our math teacher dressed up like that. So it was like 2017 actually, like so a year after the song came out. It was like Halloween sophomore year. Our teachers had dressed up like characters from a movie, and my math teacher dressed up like the people from Trolls. And so when class started, she had played Can't Stop the Feeling. So when we were walking into class, we're walking into Can't Stop the Feeling, and we all were just beyond irritated with her. Yo.
Poor
So
teacher.
I want to do stuff like that. So, and it's very fun, but
It's already done.
Yeah.
You just have to see it.
it's already done. I see it and I believe it. I've already received it.
Well,
So yeah.
I'm going to have to cut here because my children are making too much noise, and I don't want it to pick up all the noise.
It's giving, what's that dog's name? Girl, it's giving Eric's dog. I forgot his dog's name.
Zane?
Yes, it's giving Zane.
Yeah.
It's giving Zane. What?
Anyway, so I guess we'll end that there. And if you have any ending messages you want to share with people, you can. My thing is just, again, remember you are loved because you are loved, and just go spread that and just be loved, you know?
And remember, you are the creator and the center of your reality. If you weren't, you would not be experiencing it right now. So go select the experience that you want to experience.
Amen.
So
Hallelujah.
yeah, and know it's done. I know that's right.
All right, well, we'll end that there, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.